Hello everybody, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Globally Kaimbe. If this is your first time on this channel, you are welcome, and for everyone that has been around liking, subscribing, commenting, I do see you and I'm really grateful for your contribution to this channel. I'm going to be discussing with you I'm going to be giving you an estimated amount or the cost of living in Canada or in Ontario or in Ottawa. I'm not so sure about other provinces, because one thing about Canada is that every province has its own thing. There are some provinces that are more expensive than others. However, a beautiful thing about Canada is that you will get a job, whatever job you will be working in, they have your employer has to make sure that they kind of match with the cost of living for your province. Before we get deep into the video, I would like to share with you just a word of encouragement. I can do all things through Christ Jesus who gives me strength. So I don't know what you're going through right now, or you're feeling discouraged. It's the end of the year, this and that is happening, but I want to encourage you that you can do all things through Christ Jesus who gives you strength. Let's jump into the video of the day. The first thing that we all think about when we come to Canada, or we worry about, is where are we going to stay? Where are we going to live? So one of the first things that South Africa, or many of us in Africa don't do, is that when we need to rent a house, we don't have to think about a third party, an extra person that will need to come and rent with a house with us as a newbie. So one thing that we encountered when we got to Canada is that there was such a thing called a guarantor. A guarantor is someone that is either a permanent resident or a citizen of Canada, a permanent resident of Canada or a citizen of Canada that is employed, someone that can sign and say that, okay, they are going to pay your rent should you not be able to pay it because you're a newcomer and you have no record. I know, guys, this is crazy, but this is exactly what we came across so many times, especially if you have children. If you have children, you'll have to look for a guarantor. However, there are some exceptions. Some owners, when you ask them to rent, they'll be they'll be willing to give you their house for rent, but it's not everyone. For some, especially those who are renting through agencies, it's a whole lot of paperwork. Canada is really big on family. So if you really want to be comfortable raising your children, you would rather want to rent either a penthouse or a normal standing house, so that your children can have access to a backyard. They can, children, so that children can be children. For a house like that, a 3-bedroom house for the parents and for the 2 different genders, you have to look roughly starting from, I'm talking about the Ottawa region because this was our experience. You have to look starting from $2,500 upwards. Yeah. $2,500 upwards for rent only. And apart from rent, you also have what they call is hydro it's either if you're paying electricity, if you're going to pay for electricity, or water. So electricity and water, you pay them separately. So apart from the 2,600 or 2,800, whichever house you will take, you have to pay for water and electricity separately. For some households, it is you have to pay for gas. You also have to pay for gas because when it comes to the aircon and the heater and everything, some houses you have to use gas. So this is where you can also pay for gas. I'm not sure how it is for everybody else, but this is what most people are experiencing, especially in my neighborhood. You pay for electricity, you pay for your water, and every 3 months at least you have to pay for your gas. So and I cannot give you an estimated amount on how much you could pay for water or how much you could pay for electricity, because it varies from household to household. Some households will pay up to $100, while some pay $40, while other pay. So it depends from household to household. And the next thing that you'll probably be worried about is the feeding. So if you're a family of 5 or more, you are looking roughly about $1,000 a month. So from $700 to $1,000 a month. Guys, when we moved to Canada, all these dollars, because we had a mistake. What my husband and I were doing was we will change it, convert it to rand, and we would just be like, oh my god, this is too much, it was really surprising us. But anyway, you would be spending about 700 to 1,000 depending on what you guys eat, on how much you guys eat. And for those who have children, I'm sure children sometimes eat more than adults. They are always looking for something, they're expecting something to always be in the fridge. So yeah, that is what you can look at spending. But other ways that you can look at cutting costs, what my husband and I sometimes do is that we buy foods in bulk. We could buy certain items in bulk, which makes it that in certain months we'll have to spend less, and then we won't have to spend that huge amount on a monthly basis. So for example, we'll buy groceries like the proteins, the vegetables, and we store everything in the freezer. We had to go the African way, you know what I mean? We got ourselves a freezer and we stocked all our food stuff in there. And especially with winter coming, that is something that we have to do. We have to make sure that we stock, and I've already started stocking my stuff already. So yeah, you just take a lump sum and you put it into the food. Then you know that all you have to do is just get a few items here and there. If you think about it in that way, it kind of saves you. And you must really be as long as you are saving and you don't waste food, you are going to make it. And the nice thing about this country is that they pay you every 2 weeks, so you don't really feel like you're running short and dry, whatever. But at least every 2 weeks you have to make sure that you have stocked up what is important, what you guys will eat for those 2 weeks. Another thing that you don't have to worry about if you have children actually is that the schooling is already provided for. You know what I mean? School is relatively free unless if you choose to take your children to a private education, a private institution, which for us is a big plus, because compared to South Africa where we were, and I feel like this is the thing that Africa should actually implement as a whole. Primary school should be free. Primary school should be free, so that if the child chooses, so the parents can put money aside. When you're raising your children, the last thing that you have to worry about should be schooling. Here, going to a private school is a privilege because your parents can afford to send you to a private school, and your parents have a duty of opening up accounts. Like us, we have opened up accounts for our children that will, we put a grant aside for their studies in the future. Should they choose to study, they're going to use that money towards their studies. So here, having a car is a necessity, is not a want. However, the public transport is still reliable. We have buses and trains, and of course Uber and Lyft and all of that. If driving is not a thing for you, you can still continue living your life. You know what I mean? You can go to work and back and do what you got to do using the public transportation. However, you will need a car should you have small children and you have to go through the winter. The Canada winter is not friendly at all. So should you want to continue living at least a normal lifestyle where you like to take your children out once in a while, or you will like to take the children to church and continue with those activities, you have to get a car, because you can't be hopping from one bus to another with the children. And yeah, talking about transportation, public transportation, you will pay, for example, like $5. I'm not sure how much it is now, but when I was using the bus, it was $5, depending on the routes that you are taking. That $5 is valid for like 2 hours, which means you can opt in and off different buses within those 2 hours. Within that 2 hours period, You could even go to your place that you were going to finish your things, and then you come back, it will still be valid. And then should you go over the 2 hours, then you have to renew it. Guys, I forgot to mention that to get a car and have it insured could cost you up to $600 to $700 on a monthly basis. When it comes to health, I know that for people that are permanent residents, we are covered under the OHIP, which is the Ontario Health Insurance Program, which you can take to any, just when you want to go see a doctor, when you want to go to the hospital, you can be treated with that. However, should you not have the Ontario Health Insurance Program, you will need to spend, I think it is $45 or more if you want to see a doctor. But OHIP does not cover certain things such as dental care or other treatments. You have to get some type of insurance to cover for that. However, should you be sick and they bring you by emergency, whatever, they will treat you first. You know what I mean? They will treat you first, and then you have to pay. You have to owe them that money, and you have to pay it thereafter. So yeah, guys, this is my short video on the cost of living, or something that you can actually think of when I'm just giving you an idea of the cost of living here in Canada. Please keep in mind, like I said, every province has its own prices. Some provinces, they are lower on the tax, and some provinces are higher on the tax. So it just depends on which one you want to live in and which one you think works best for you, will work best for you and your family. So it is very important for you to do your research before thinking of coming this side, or if you know someone that is thinking of coming this side, advise them accordingly. Please let me know if you have any questions on what I discussed on this video. This is just a short video that I wanted to make for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.